Hello, welcome to another video, and this wasn't what I originally planned for the week. But I got wrapped up in a certain idea, so I decided to go with it. Originally, I was going to work on landscapes and just like different word drawings, like one of my usual videos, but I had the story and these characters in my head for a little while, and I wanted to make them more tangible and put, a face to the vibes of the characters, so that's what I did instead. When you take a full week off, there's not much to do, so that's how I came up with these characters. The first character I did was, I cut the footage for this one because it's part of my big project for next month. I'll play the footage then. The second character is unnamed. All of the characters are unnamed. I don't really know what I wanted to name them, but yeah, I have the vibes for them, so I'm gonna call this one the MMC. It gets confusing due to none of the characters having names yet, so if you have any ideas for them, put them down below. So the second one, I wrote 6 pages at 11 p.m. at night about his full life story and his character, which sucks when I have no cool ideas for his design. I knew I wanted to give him the ability to fake being happy-go-lucky character, so pretty normal clothing, good looking, and his charisma score is pretty high. I'm probably gonna redo it, just because I want his design to be a little bit more unique. But this is just me putting down what I had in my head on paper. So, yeah, that's just what this is. I've got 2 different backstories for him. One is a lot darker than the other, but it makes more sense. But I also think I traumatized my characters too much, so maybe the more normal one, which emphasizes the idea that inspired the character and the idea for the story, which is like, what really happens after you save the day, It's not a very original idea, but I wanted to do it. And then I had an angle change. I committed to the video, and I wanted to watch TV while I drew, so I just switched locations and did a slightly different setup. Just like before, I wrote down the vibes and the vague elements that I wanted to use. Originally, this character was male or masculine, but for some reason I decided to switch to female. I don't really know why, it just felt right. And let's be honest, a badass emo daughter of the goddess of death has cool vibes. I was trying to use the guidelines on the lines, but they weren't lining today. I really like how her design turned out. I gave her 2 necklaces to lean into the emo look and a ripped t-shirt. Once again, I don't really have a name, and much less now that he is now a she. So yeah, she's also the ex-partner of our main character. Time for an angle change again. And then another character. This character is heavily inspired by both the goddess Athena and a mermaid, because I've been really into ocean-inspired characters because of Mermay. I decided to use Medusa's snake hair, but instead it's eels instead of snakes. I thought this was a really cool design element. This character is the goddess of water and strategy or something like that. I don't know, I haven't really figured it out yet. I want it to be something that has to do with intelligence and like obviously the ocean. There's one thing about her design that I wished I'd used that first popped into my head, but I couldn't find the reference that inspired the idea, so I didn't end up using it, and it's like these weird, unique eyes. But oh well. The character is our main character's mother. She's got glowy markings all over her body, and I'd say she's pretty benevolent and has temples built for her along the coast. And the only reason she's considered benevolent is because she just doesn't really show up that often. Like, she'll go centuries without anything. She'll like grant what people want and then if they piss her off, she'll send storms and stuff, but she doesn't actually show up. Like, people rarely actually see her. So, yeah, that's his mother, and the reason why she's not really around and how, like, yeah, is because his dad, after he had him and his brother, ended up going to the modern world and got completely cut off, and that's why our MMC and his brother gets dumped back into, you could say, their heritage world or whatever. They get dumped back into it, and then she's like, oh my gosh, my kids, they're alive. Because she may be a goddess, but she can't actually go to another world where she has no power, or at least, like, there's some sort of limitation there. This is a pretty underdeveloped idea, so I don't really know exactly what's going on, but I'll figure it out. So yeah, that's her. Once again, she doesn't really have a name, so if you have any cool water wisdom goddess names, then comment them down below. The next character is Mounted Woman. I don't have names for any of these characters. Oh my gosh. She's a ancient military leader whose ghost stands at the top of a mountain, ready to fight an evil that's prophesied to come by Onhenna, the god of the future and prophecy. She has the same abilities as her main character. They've met before the events of the story that I specifically envisioned, and during, like, the first half of the story. I don't know if that makes any sense, but, like, there's two parts. One of them is, like, I've made it to be kind of the stereotypical hero takes down villain to save the world type story, and during that specific part of the story is when they first meet, and then during the second story that's, like, kind of more what I'm kind of working on is like the second part. I don't know if that makes any sense. When I was designing her, I gave her armor and a sword and a scar on her face because coolness. I messed with the idea of having her hair be in a half up, half down hairstyle, but I figured that would be impractical, so in the face shot, I put it all up into a bun. I think she's my favorite design out of all of them. Her armor and her hair make for a pretty good silhouette, and the entire concept of that, like, you're standing on top of the mountain for all of eternity until you fulfill this prophecy. I think that's really cool and a really cool concept, and it makes me want to explore whether she resents it or it's of her own choosing to fulfill this prophecy, or if the god was like, no, you have to do this. It's prophesied that you have to do this. I think that's a really cool concept to explore and stuff. So yeah, that's this character. Let me know if you have a cool name for her. For the next character, I'm going to be leading into more of the traditional type of character. This is the princess that you have in your stories. She's conventionally attractive, good, and the heir to the throne. She's generally a good person, which is why she's part of the heroes team. I gave her a dress with ruffles and her basic story on a post-it note and stuck it to the page. I don't really know if there's very much to say about her. She's the princess. I thought about going all into the whole stereotypical thing and being like, well, she doesn't like wearing dresses and stuff, but I don't know, that felt kind of disingenuous because that's not the point of the character. The point of the character is to play a role until she has to change because that role is wrong. That role of, like, being the hero isn't just being the hero. It's also being like, I don't know how to explain it really, but like being a good person isn't just being the hero, it's also looking out for your team, not just your, like, I don't know really how to explain it, not just the people that you don't know, but also the people that you know too. And like, I don't know, she's the princess, so she has to like care about her subjects, but she also can't like use people for the greater good, because that's not good. You have to think about those people too, because they're also relying on you as the princess or the queen, king, whatever it is. You're their leader too. You're not just the kingdom's leader, you're their leader. Anyway, I don't know if that makes any sense, but so I wanted to give her pretty much like stereotypical type things, like give her a dress, you know, probably she could probably wield a sword, maybe a bow. She's strong, protective, a good person, maybe a little bit naive. Her story is pretty bare bones right now. It's not super important, so I haven't really put a lot of thought to it. Her mother and her get exiled for something, and they have to fight their way back, and the main character and his brother, when they get dumped into there, help them and take down the king and is proclaimed the hero. One of those types of stories. So yeah, that's this character. So yeah. The next two characters are going to be more rapid fire because I was getting pretty tired, so I just kind of sketched them out pretty quickly. The first one is the brother. He's protective of doctor, etc. And due to the main character's history, he is considered dead, and the brother is protective of his memory. The brother is intelligent and buries himself in his studies and then his work. He doesn't have time to process what happened in the other world, and he doesn't give himself the time. So when he gets wrapped back up into the story, it's pretty hard. So that's his brother. There's a lot more to him, but I haven't really figured out how it all works yet. So yeah, the last character is the two brothers' adoptive mother. She's close to her sons. The only thing up in the air is her husband's character and whether he's a good person. She wishes she could have helped the main character and his brother more. She's very proud of the brother, but is constantly pushing him to take time off and get some help for his brother's death, which she believes is real. She thinks the main character is actually dead, and he's not. The other option is she's dead. That's why I gave her the side ponytail. So should she be dead, married to a terrible person, or married to a great dude? Those are the options right now. Great options. Anyway, that's what I've been thinking about recently. Let me know what you think of each of the characters, and have a good rest of your day.